When most people imagine a grandfather, they think of a kindly old man who gives sage advice, tells colorful stories, and likes to go fishing with his grandkids. Rick Sanchez is not a typical grandfather. He likes to take his teenage grandson Morty Smith on adventures to alternate dimensions and alien worlds. He also likes to place Morty in dangerous situations, threaten his life, and heap verbal abuse upon the timid teen. While Morty is often the victim of his grandfather's crazy schemes, he also knows how to deliver dastardly deeds of his own. Hey folks, and welcome to The Binger. In this video, we're going to look at 5 things that Rick has done to hurt Morty, and 5 times Morty has returned the favor.
Get riggedy wrecked, son!
Rick and Morty's relationship gets off to a painful start right off the bat. In the pilot episode, Rick takes Morty to another dimension where Rick wants to steal mega seeds and smuggle them back home. Rick gives Morty a pair of grappling shoes that will help the youngster climb the tree, but forgets to tell him how to turn them on. When Morty tests the shoes, he falls to the bottom of a cliff, his legs broken in several places. Rick uses his portal gun to get a healing serum for Morty. While the trip allows Morty to regain his mobility, it exhausts the gun's charge. When Morty gets the seeds, Rick tells him that they must go through interdimensional customs to take the seeds home. However, the customs office have strict rules against taking the seeds, so Rick tells Morty that he'll have to hold the seeds somewhere safe. Rick eventually convinces Morty to hide these gigantic seeds up his backside. So, Rick uses his 14-year-old grandson's rear end as a temporary storage unit for the illegal smuggling of gigantic alien seeds. Every classic cartoon character has a classic catchphrase. Bugs Bunny had, "What's up, Doc?" Bart Simpson has, "Eat my shorts," and Rick Sanchez has, "Wubba-lubba-dub-dub." Rick first made the phrase famous in the Season 1 episode Me Seeks and Destroy when he made a joke about the problem-solving Me Seeks box. He also brought the phrase back 2 episodes later in Raising Gazorpazorp, and it became a recurring joke ever since. In the Season 1 finale, Rick See Business, Rick throws a party at Morty's house, complete with party favors in the form of crushed Calaxion crystals. When Morty tries to shut the party down, Rick keeps saying, "Wubba-lubba-dub-dub!" As Morty cleans up after the party, Rick's friend Bird Person arrives. Bird Person asks if Morty knows the meaning behind Rick's trademark phrase. When Morty dismisses the phrase as nonsense, Bird Person tells Morty that it has a special meaning in his native language. When Morty dismisses the phrase as nonsense, Bird Person tells Morty that it has a special meaning in his native language. The phrase means, "I am in great pain, please help me." The translation does nothing to soothe Morty's anger at his grandfather's irresponsible and impulsive behavior, at least for a while. A young man in the throes of his first crush will often ask for advice from family members. When Morty develops a crush on his classmate Jessica, he considers asking for pointers on how to approach the object of his affection. However, instead of listening to his father Jerry, his mother Beth, or his sister Summer, he picks the least qualified person in the house, Rick. In the Season 1 episode Rick Potion number 9, Morty asks Rick to develop a love potion to help him win Jessica's heart at the school's flu season dance. Yeah, flu. You gotta be aware of all the flu, up in the air. While Rick is hardly a hopeless romantic, he does give Morty a serum that will ensure that Jessica will be attracted to him. The only thing that could go wrong is if Jessica has the flu, which of course she does. The serum mixes with Jessica's flu virus, which goes airborne and causes everyone to become instantly attracted to Morty. Rick's efforts to stop the mutated virus only makes things worse, as the entire human population transforms into deformed Cronenberg monsters. Not only does Rick ruin Morty's chances with Jessica, but he also causes a planet-wide apocalypse. One of the premises of the show is the use of alternate timelines, dimensions, and realities. Not only does Rick have several duplicates of varying personality types, but so does Morty. One of these duplicates earns the nickname Eye Patch Morty, or simply Evil Morty. This alternate Morty hates all the alternate versions of Rick and himself. In the Season 1 episode Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind, Evil Morty eliminates 27 alternate Ricks and kidnaps their Mortys. Evil Morty frames all R. Rick for the crime and convinces the Council of Ricks, the ruling body of Ricks, to send a squad of Ricks to capture Rick C-137. The squad transports Rick to the Citadel of Ricks, an extra-dimensional habitat that houses Ricks and Mortys from various universes. At the Citadel, Rick and Morty learn that an evil Rick set Rick up to be framed. Later, the truth is revealed. The evil Rick was actually a robot controlled by evil Morty. Evil Morty uses his robot Rick to express his belief about the Rick and Morty relationship. If there's any truth in the universe, it's that Ricks don't care about Mortys. Rick Sanchez. Superhero? Okay, so Rick isn't the superhero type, clearly. However, that doesn't mean he has no connections to the Fights and Tights set. In Season 3, Rick gets a call from the Vindicators, a group of remarkable beings who work together to fight the battles no one else could. When Rick refuses to take the call, Morty reminds him that he gave Morty the privilege of choosing every 10th adventure. Rick relents, and the pair join the superpowered do-gooders. Morty gets to live out the dream of every comic book fanboy, a chance to go on an adventure with a superhero team. How does Rick celebrate? By getting blind drunk and pooping all over the team's conference table, of course. During his drunken stupor, Rick sets up a variety of traps for the superheroes, eliminating them one by one. So Rick took out Morty's favorite superhero team in a fit of drunken anger and jealousy. It's like the old saying goes, never meet your heroes, because your crazy grandfather might get drunk and cause their demise. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to The Binger, and don't forget to turn on notifications because we all know how YouTube can be sometimes. And if you're on mobile, you can turn on notifications through YouTube settings. Enjoy the rest of the video! In the Season 3 finale, the Rick Churian Morty date, Rick and Morty save the day. Again. This time, they eliminate a monster that was living in the tunnels under the White House. All they ask is that Morty get a selfie with the president. Is that too much to ask? Evidently so, at least in this timeline. After another daring adventure in which they save the Earth, Rick arranges for Morty to get his presidential selfie. Instead, Morty steals Rick's portal gun and joins the rest of his family in hiding from Rick. Rick uses other resources, namely a portal installed in the White House, to find his family again. When he arrives, he tries to talk Morty into jumping into another portal and going on another adventure. For once, Morty refuses. He stands up to Rick and chooses to stay with his family. With his parents on the way to reconciliation, Morty believes he can have a happy family life without Rick. However, Rick chooses to stay with the family and accept a lesser role, not because of Morty's reasoning, but because of Summer's control over her farts. Memories can be a tricky thing. Some can stay with you forever, while others fade away. When your grandfather is a mad scientist, some memories can cause more trouble than they're worth. In the Season 3 episode, Morty's Mind Blowers, Morty learns that Rick has been storing hundreds of Morty's memories in a basement under the lab. Rick shows Morty this special helmet that allows Morty's brain to access the memories. In the space of a few seconds, Morty relives dozens of memories that he had previously lost. Some of these memories may have been so traumatic that Rick removed them from Morty's mind to save him from more emotional trauma. Others were apparently removed because they made Rick look stupid or incompetent. Morty doesn't appreciate Rick's tampering with his memories. The fight turns physical when they tangle over Rick's mind eraser and use it on each other. The struggle results in the pair forgetting about their relationship and their adventures together. In the end, Summer restores the memories of her brother and grandfather and sets things back to normal, or as normal as Rick and Morty can get. The Rick Shank redemption picks up from the end of Season 2, where Rick turned himself over to the authorities in exchange for releasing Morty and his family. The Season 3 premiere saw Rick as a prisoner of the Galactic Federation and Morty back on Earth with his family. But Rick Sanchez was never one to go quietly. Rick carries out a daring escape plan which leads him to a confrontation with the multidimensional Council of Ricks. The Council sends a special forces squad known as SEAL Team Ricks to assassinate the renegade Rick. The confrontation leads leads to a standoff with one of the Ricks holding Summer as a hostage. Morty picks up a weapon and must decide whether to take down the Rick holding his sister or take out his Rick so he and Summer can go home. Morty chooses to shoot his grandfather and save his sister, which was Rick's plan all along. Rick left a note on the weapon that said, "Fake gun, shoot me in standoff." Only one little tiny problem. Morty didn't see the notes before he took the shot. The events of Rick Potion number 9 left Morty without his date, Rick without a home, and both of them without a world. So they did what anyone who caused a global apocalypse filled with gruesome mutants would do. They hightailed it to an alternate reality. The pair teleported into another version of Rick's garage lab where they met their counterparts, or rather, their counterparts' bodies. You see, this alternate Rick and Morty lost their lives in a lab explosion just before the new versions arrived. While Rick has seen many versions of himself perish, this occasion marked the first time that Morty had ever seen any corpse, never mind his own. Rick proposes that they replace their doubles in the new reality, which means burying their counterparts' body in the backyard. After the gruesome job of digging his own grave, Morty becomes numb to the insanity of his new situation. With his need to keep their secret, Morty must bottle up the trauma of witnessing his fragile mortality firsthand. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. One of Morty Smith's biggest wishes is to be with his crush, Jessica. The other is to be rid of the destructive force in his life that is Rick Sanchez. In the Season 4 premiere episode Edge of Tomorty, Rick Die Repeat, Morty gets to see both of those wishes come true. The two go to a planet where they find a special crystal that lets anyone who holds them see the various ways their lives will end. When Morty picks up a crystal, he sees the preferred possibility in which he passes from old age as Jessica tells him that she loves him. As Rick tries to wrestle the crystal out of Morty's hands, Morty causes Rick to lose control of their ship. They collide with a boulder and Rick flies out the windshield. He lands on a sharp rock, leaving him impaled. When a hologram appears to instruct Morty on how to bring Rick back, Morty ignores it. Instead, he pursues his desired outcome with Jessica even as it destroys the world. So what do you think? What horrible acts did we leave out? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your Rick and Morty fan friends, and subscribe to The Binger to get notified about our latest videos. Thanks for watching.